and I am very happy to welcome you to JanyuTech's Saturday Talk series. Today we gather for a very special occasion that connects a century of ideological evolution, discipline, and service to our nation building. It's my great privilege to host Dr. Seshadri Chari, one of the most respected intellectuals and strategic thinkers in India today and a lifelong member of RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, whose journey itself mirrors the Sangh's century-long mission. Dr. Chari's association with RSS began at a very young age, and he dedicated over 2 decades as a full-time pracharak, immersing himself in the grassroots level of character formation and national awakening. His stint as the editor of the Organizer, the English weekly of RSS from 92 to 2004, was a defining moment that saw him shape and articulate the Sangh's worldview to a modern and global audience. Beyond his work in RSS, Dr. Chari has made distinguished contributions to the world of governance, foreign policy, and strategic affairs. He currently serves as the Secretary General of the Forum for Integrated National Security and is a member of the Governing Council of the Research and Information Systems under the Ministry of External Affairs. He has held key academic positions, including Professor Emeritus at Savitribai Phule Pune University and Ministry of Defense Chair Professor at the Department of Defense and Strategic Studies. And through his external writings from a new era in Indian polity to India's nuclear quest and his decades of service to the RSS and nation, Dr. Chari exemplifies the very spirit of the Sangh. As we reflect today on the 100 years of the RSS, there could be no better guide than him, and we are blessed to have his presence.
Thank you for those very kind words. Yes, my association with the RSS is almost 70 years now. Out of 100 years of RSS, I've been part of it for almost 70 years because I started going to Shaka at a very young age, at the age of 4.
Oh my goodness.
But obviously now those who go to a Shaka understand RSS and all that, but 404, at the age of 4, it is not the age to understand. The reasons for going to Shaka was very different. I was in Mumbai, Matunga at that time, and we used to go out and play. Those were the times when children were not very overtly protected too much. Children could go at the age of 4 or 5, children could go out and play independently, enjoy, and by sunset, they would come back home automatically. There was no control over children. There was no mobile. There was no television. Nothing to keep them at home. So one of the persons who took me to RSS was a person who was working as a very ordinary fitter in a industrial estate in Poisha, that is in Mumbai. Okay. He was a mechanic in one of the companies. It's very engineering company. His name was Padmanabhan. He was from Kerala, and he had a cycle. Now his whole monthly salary was some 20 rupees, and out of that 20 rupees, he would look after himself and also run the RSS Shaka. So one day he came and he saw all of us playing. So he said, why don't you come to the garden in front of us and then you can play. So I said, fine, that sounds very interesting. So we all went there, and it so happened that he took me in his cycle. Now, go in that cycle was a great thing for us. Imagine in 1960s, late 50s, you get to sit on a cycle, which is something very great. So only for that cycle, we used to go with him, and then we used to play there, came back. So this is how the association with RSS started. But then gradually the work progressed, and then my association increased a lot. Now, RSS actually was not started. Many organizations are started as a reaction to something, or in a jiffy, or some incident takes place and then the RSS starts, or some organization starts. As far as RSS is concerned, it was a very different story. It was started by a doctor, a medical doctor. So he studied medicine in Kolkata. Actually, he was in Neil City School in Nagpur, and Neil City had a very interesting history. Wherever in the country, people in those days saying Vande Mataram was banned. Nobody was allowed to say Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and nobody was allowed to give any slogan against the British, especially the Queen. Nothing. No, not allowed. Even as a school student, Dr. Hedgevar was in the school, and that was Queen Victoria's birthday. So Queen Victoria's birthday was supposed to be celebrated by all the children in the school. So everybody was supposed to stand in the classroom and say long live Queen Victoria, and everybody would get one chocolate. But Dr. Edgware said, who is Queen Victoria? She is ruling over us. She is our ruler. So why should we say happy birthday and long live Queen Victoria? So he organized all the boys in the school, and he said, we will protest. We will not take chocolate. So when this incident came and everybody came to know about this incident, he was actually removed from the school. And then there is this Neil City High School comes. This Neil City High School had a very great history. Wherever people were not respected in the school or removed from the school because of such nationalistic activities, they all joined Neil City School. And then it became a big college also much later. And then they established a law college also. So, incidentally, one of our former prime ministers, P.V. Narasimha Rao, also joined that law college in Nagpur because he was in Hyderabad, and there he shouted Vande Mataram in the college, and he was removed from the college. So he had nowhere to go, so he came and joined the law college in Nagpur. Anyway, that's a side information. So after the college activities, he decided to do medicine. So he chose to go to Calcutta. Calcutta was in those days a very important place of activity. Most of the revolutionaries were in Kolkata at that time. So Dr. Edgware joined the group of those revolutionaries. As a medical student, he started getting friends with the revolutionaries. And he worked with them. He used to help them and then assist them. All these things he did. But during that work, he realized one thing. Most of the revolutionaries would work for the independence. They will try and make a bomb. They will decide to kill some British person, and then in the process get killed or get hanged or go to jail, and the life is over. So it is not a small thing. To die for the country is also not a very small thing. But at the same time, Dr. Edgware started thinking, it is important that one should die for the country, but it is equally important that one should live for the country. देश के लिए जान देना और देश के लिए जीवन देना, both are equally important. If you give your life for the country, you die for the country, what happens? You die, and after that your purpose is not served. So instead of that, why not we start thinking of something? So after completing his medical examination, he came to Nagpur again, and then instead of starting a practice, he started thinking of so many things. The most important thing that came to his mind was, now we are under the British rule. But why did the British come? Were the British stronger than Indians? Were the British army much powerful than the Indian army or the rulers of India at that time? Did British people have more money than India had? What is the reason? None of these reasons are correct. Britain did not have a great army. They did not bring an army and invade India. Britain did not have more money than India had. In any respect, it was nothing like that. But the only reason was we were disunited and the British were united. They had a purpose. They wanted to rule over India. Rulers in India, the kings in India, did not have a purpose. So this idea of India, nationalism, that we are one country, one nation, one history, one culture, all this was missing. Now another thought came to his mind. It's not that only he thought about it. There are so many people at that time had written about this and thought about it. He said, are the British the first set of people to come and occupy this country and rule over us? What was there before the British? It was Portuguese, the French, the Dutch, the Spanish. So many people came. And before them, the Mongols, the Mughals, the Turk, everybody came. Whoever was powerful enough, whoever had a small army, whoever wanted to loot India, they all came, they looted us and went back. Some people stayed back. So this was the whole idea. So why is it that we should be thinking about only the British? So we should start thinking about the entire country. It is not that we have lost our freedom and we became a country of Ghulam. What he said was, we became a slave country. And we were ruled even by a particular set of rulers who were who are referred to history as slave dynasty. Not even the kings, their slaves ruled us. This was the history for 1,000 years. But he also said one thing. Although we were ruled by all these people in 1,000 years, we were enslaved. We were enslaved. In these 1,000 years, are there no great historic events that have taken place? If you see one thing, it is in these 1,000 years that we have an empire called Magad Empire. We also had another empire called Vijayanagar Empire. In these 1,000 years, just 350 years back, we had what we call the empire established by Shivaji, Hindavi Samrajya. So Vijayanagar Samrajya, after that Hindavi Samrajya and Magad Samrajya, three Samrajya were established in this country in the same 1,000 years. So it is not that we are not powerful, not that we cannot rule ourselves. It is not that we should live as an enslaved people. It is not that we cannot fight back. What is required is to realize our identity, get united, and work for the nation. So this nation building work has to begin somewhere. That is what he thought. Another thing that he thought was all the activities against the British or anything that you do as far as nation building is concerned involves lot of money. You have to either have the support of the government or you have to have lot of money. If somebody gives you money, then his agenda comes before your agenda. Government, if you take the help of the government will not allow you to work against it. So he thought that we will have to instill this feeling of nationalism, that we are one kind, one people, we have a great culture, we have a great history, we have made mistakes, and we should improve upon them and become a great country once again. So this feeling should come in the minds of each and every person. So he started thinking about it. In the meantime, he was greatly attracted towards Lokmanya Tilak. So Lokmanya Tilak gave a call about Swaraj. But before that, in 1914, Lokmanya Tilak was jailed and he was dispatched to Mandle. Mandle was at that time in Myanmar, that is that time it was called Burma, and Burma was part of India. Burma was part of British India till 1935. So he was sent to Burma jail, and there he wrote a lot of books. The most important book that he wrote was Gita Rahasya. And then in 2017 he came back. He was released and he was brought to India. When he came to India, he saw whatever movement he had started, it all have dissipated. It was nothing, no movement, nothing in front of the people. So he thought, this is what happens if you don't have continuity in the work. So he wrote an editorial. He was running a newspaper called Kesari. So he wrote an editorial, Punascha Hariom. Hariom is, you say, whenever you start say something new, you say Hariom. So he said, once again, Hariom. So he started nationalist work once again. And then he gave a call in 2017 for Purna Swaraj. And Swaraj is our birthright, we will take it. हम उसको लेकर ही रहेंगे. Like that he gave a call. But 2017, his health was also not very good. So he was a little weak. And then after the Lahore meeting and all, he had to come back to India, and the doctors advised him to take rest. So around 2019, he went to North India, near Dehradun. But when he came back to Pune, his health had much deteriorated, and unfortunately, he died in 1920. On 1st August 1920, he died. So when Lokmanya Tilak died, very unfortunately, a huge chunk of the Congress was in a very bad shape. He was working for the Congress, of course. And Dr. Hedgewar was also working for the Congress at that time. And no leadership. And Congress was the only organization that was spearheading the movement. Although Congress was started by the British for their own purpose, it was later on, during the intervention of people like Lokmanya Tilak, it became a nationalist organization and wholly Indian organization and working for the freedom movement. So after 1st August 1920, when Lokmanya Tilak died, for some time there was no movement. So two friends, that is, one was Dr. Hedgewar himself and one was his friend, Dr. Munje. They both decided that Congress requires a leadership. So they both decided to go to Pondicherry. Yogi Sri Aurobindo was living in Pondicherry at that time. He had decided to give up politics from a very great revolutionary. He had become a very spiritual person, and he went to Pondicherry at that time. So both Dr. Munje and Dr. Hedgewar went to Pondicherry, spoke to Yogi Sri Aurobindo, and requested him to join the Congress movement and become the president of the Congress, so that Congress will get a leadership. They said, once we get freedom, once we get independence, you can go back. That was the whole idea. But Yogi Aurobindo said that I have decided that I should become, I have decided to change my life into a spiritual life. But don't worry, Congress will get good leadership. You all can go back and work for the Congress. India will get independence, but you have to do certain things. The most important thing that you have to do is create a strong workforce, a dedicated, united workforce. Unless you have a dedicated, united workforce, those people who just come to join the movement for fun, work with you for 15-20 days, then go back, that will not do. You have to have a good team of people who will be continuously working for the cause. That is number one. Number two, you have to have an independent organization which will work for the regeneration of the Hindu society. The Hindus have lost the sense of their identity. They are divided among caste, community, creed, language, and so many smaller identities. These smaller identities are very important. These smaller identities have a great role to play in the life of a human being. But one has to go above the smaller identity and join oneself with a much bigger and greater identity. That greater identity is that we are all one people, we are all Hindus, we have a great history, we have a great noble past, but we have to get united, and this is our country. So one has to be very nationalistic, patriotic, and this patriotism has to be inculcated in the minds of the people. So you have to go and do this work. Side by side, you can work for the Congress. But this work is very important. So both of them came back. So Dr. Munje took a very good advice from Sri Aurobindo and started Hindu Mahasabha. It was a great organization that he started. He said every month on the day Mahatma Gandhi was arrested, that should be Gandhi Divas. And till Mahatma Gandhi is released from the jail, we should observe that day every month as Gandhi Divas and remember that great person who has gone to jail because of India for independence. So this was the kind of activity. And in 1931, there was a Jungle Satyagraha. So during the Jungle Satyagraha declared by the Congress, again he organized Jungle Satyagraha and went to jail. Again, for 1 year he was in jail and he was released. So he said, Congress movement is very important and we must participate in all the Congress movements, and whenever possible, we should offer Satyagraha and work as a under one banner. There is no use of just imploding one bomb here and one bomb there, killing one Britisher here and one Britisher there, and then getting killed by that in that process. It is not a small thing, but it is very important that we should live for this country. So that is the process that he started, and then he, by that time, in the next 10 years, 1925 to 1935, he had started RSS work in almost more than 100 places. But these 100 places were mainly within Maharashtra. Then around 1934-35, he started going to other states also. And generally what he would do is, whenever he is traveling by train, and if he gets to, he would speak about all these things. He would say that we have to get united, we have to do this, we have to do that. As Hindus, we have to do this. Swami Vivekananda had said this. Mahatma Gandhi has said this. People would generally agree. But then they won't know it. They won't do anything. So he will say, once you go back to your village or your town, wherever you are, will you start a shaka? He'll say, I don't know how to run a shaka. He'll say, I will send somebody. Then he will catch hold of some student and send him to that place. This is how RSS work has started. If you go back to the history of RSS, hundreds and thousands of people who have given their whole life to RSS have actually gone far away from their houses and worked as a pracharak. There was this term pracharak did not exist till 1942. But they used to just go, stay in somebody's house or stay in a temple, run a shaka, and whatever Dr. Hedgewar had said, they will say that to those. This is how shaka work has begun. Very unfortunately, in 1940, Dr. Hedgewar died. After Dr. Hedgewar, Guruji Golwalkar became the Sarasanga Chalaka of the RSS, and then came the 1942 movement. 1942 was a watershed movement in India's independence. The British were really shaken because 1942 was a very big movement, and RSS decided that we will wholeheartedly support Mahatma Gandhi in the 1942 movement, so that we should give to the British a sense of feeling that they can no longer continue. So the whole process of independence, thought about independence, meetings about independence started after 1942. But other incidents like partition and all are very unfortunate. I'm not going into the details of partition. We should actually have an independent lecture on partition, why country was partitioned, the strategy behind partition, people behind partition, all those things we have to separately think and discuss about. So I will not go into those details as of now. But suffice to say that the most important thing that happened as far as India's independence movement was that although we got independence in 1947, the country was also partitioned in 1947. So that was a very bad situation at that time. And Guruji Golwalkar went all the way to Lahore. He even assured the Hindus in Lahore that there is no need for the Hindus to be worried about all these things. But of course, there were a lot of other things also that happened in the meantime. So he had to sort of come back, and he took a few Swayamsevak volunteers along with him. And one of the volunteers who went with him at that time was none other than Mr. Vijay Kumar Malhotra, who passed away very, very recently, just last week. So a lot of people were there. And then partition was a very sad story. So I will not go into those details. But then after partition, the work of the RSS started in a very different manner. We had the responsibility of looking after those people who had come from Pakistan, and not only Pakistan. In fact, even in the eastern border, East Pakistan was created. So we created what we call the Vastuhara Samiti. Those who had lost their properties and come to Kolkata, we looked after them. And then the situation was very different. And then the most saddest part of the national life happened, Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. RSS was implicated in it. Although the person who did it was part of the Hindu Mahasabha was not banned, but RSS was banned. But after the ban was revoked. In fact, the ban was lifted unconditionally because they could not find anything against the RSS. So the ban was lifted unconditionally. Then the RSS work started again. And then it progressed. It progressed so much. RSS became such a powerful organization that in 1975, Mrs. Indira Gandhi was worried about the strength of RSS, and the RSS was banned once again in 1975 during emergency. But the only difference between the ban in 1948 and 1975 is that in 1948 ban took RSS 20 years behind. The 1975 ban took RSS 20 years ahead. So we progressed. People began to realize the importance of RSS, and the RSS work grew. Now was the time for RSS to branch out, not just Shaka, but do so many other things. So RSS began to set up so many other peripheral organizations. As I said earlier, हर व्यक्ति को काम, हर काम के लिए व्यक्ति. So whoever wants to take one issue that the society is facing, take that issue and start an organization. So Eknath Ji Ranade went to Kanyakumari and started Vivekananda Kendra. And then some people started student organization. Some people started labor union, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh. Some people started religious work, that is Vishwa Hindu Parishad. So some people started Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. So many organizations were started. So many other peripheral organizations in the various states also started. So this way, the RSS decided that what we should ultimately do is take each and every problem that the country is facing and try and resolve those problems within the larger framework of Indianness, within the larger framework of Bharatiya concept, Bharatiyatva, what we call, Hindutva or Hinduness or Bharatiya culture. India has enough potential to resolve the problems that not only India is facing, but the entire world is facing. But we have to put our own house in order first. We cannot be a disunited house and try to unite the rest of the world. So we have to unite ourselves first, and on the basis of that unity, strength will come, and on the basis of that national strength, we can resolve other problems also and make this whole universe a peaceful place to live. This is the whole idea, the idea of India, the idea of giving something back to the world. This is what the RSS thinks and the RSS stands for. So this man-making, nation-building effort, which started in 1925 with a handful of boys, handful of children, has today grown into a huge organization. One can only fathom the bigness or the hugeness, the colossus of the organization by going closer to it and understanding what it stands for. So it's very difficult to explain RSS through a book. It is very difficult to explain RSS in a lecture. It is very difficult to write about RSS. RSS is something, as they say in spirituality or as they say in science, you can eat jaggery and know what it is, but you can never know what jaggery is by just reading about it. RSS is also something like that. You can know more about RSS by becoming part of the organization, part of the RSS, rather than merely listening to it for 40 minutes. I think I have spoken for about 40-45 minutes. We still have another 10 minutes. I will welcome if there are some questions about RSS. I end my small lecture here. Thank you.
Sir, namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. Sir, see, RSS had a set of missions, probably set 100 years back. How far we have achieved it in a 1:10 scale, and how? Two questions, sir. Second question is that how relevant our RSS is for next 100 years in this rather information world?
Good. Thank you, Muniji. Actually, as part of RSS, we are equally competent to answer both the questions. But yes, I think the relevance of RSS is still there because RSS speaks about Hindu unity. Are we still actually united even now? Tell you very frankly, we are not united. So we have to have that sense of unity within amongst us. So unless we have that sense of unity, the RSS work is never complete. RSS is not set a time frame. We never said that in 100 years we will complete our work. So we will achieve our end. And in the RSS prayers, the prarthana, which every Swayamsevak says every day, we say Param Vaibhavam Netam Etat Swarashtra. We will take this country to Param Vaibhav, ultimate glory. What is that ultimate glory? We have to understand. Ultimate glory is not just financial glory, economic strength. There are so many countries which are economically very strong, but they are not superpowers. There are superpowers which are not economically strong. And then there are superpowers which nobody respects. There are superpowers which has no history, geography, chemistry or civilizational strength. So how a country becomes great, how a country becomes a superpower, how a country becomes a strong power is not only by economic strength, it has to be an all-round development of the country. Every person in this country has to be strong, sufficient, self-sufficient, economically well-being. So that these are all some of the indicators for the country. And then we have to be united. We cannot be united only if there is a war. Generally, when there is a war, we all get united. After the war is over, we again start our own fights between ourselves. So unity has to be a permanent feature of the country. So these are all some of the watermark that the RSS has set before itself. So till this happens, generally we say that the boundaries of Sanghistan should become the boundaries of Hindustan. So the way we behave in the Sanghistan, the way we behave in the Shaka, the way RSS people behave in the organization, they should behave outside. And the way outsiders behave should behave like what RSS people behave. So it's a very, very long journey. It has to take a long time. It is not a political activity. It is not an economic activity. It is not a health-related activity. It is not a social activity. It is a combination of all these activities. So we will have to have this kind of a long-term working group mentality. That is number one. Number two, as far as the relevance is concerned, now is the time when it is more relevant. We are nearing this kind of a situation. Today, India is considered to be one of the most powerful countries. Economically, we are number 4 in the world. But even otherwise, India's views are respected by all the people in the world. But this has to increase, and our collective strength has to increase. So we cannot set a time frame for the RSS, but the work has to go on. That's what I think.
Good evening, sir. Chariji, I wanted to ask you how strong is strongly RSS is working towards removing the caste boundaries. I think caste system is about 800, 900 years old, which was probably not there. The caste system was not so strong in the medieval, in the earlier era of Hindu religion, but it probably came in maybe some 900,000 years back. So what kind of work is being done to remove this caste boundaries and make us more united as Hindus?
Very important question, Pathakji. And let me tell you, it's a very important question and can't be answered in such a small time. But RSS, there were many people who have been thinking on those lines, because caste has been the most divisive element in Hindu society. And caste has given rise to Dalit factor, caste has given rise to untouchability. So Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, the whole life he worked against caste. In fact, his speech, he wrote a book. Actually, his speech was converted into a book. And I tell you, every Swayamsevak, everyone who is thinking about caste, even those who believe in caste and those who think that caste should exist, should also read that book. It's called Annihilation of Caste by Baba Saheb Ambedkar. And Dhananjay Keer has also written so much about Baba Saheb Ambedkar's views on caste. So Baba Saheb Ambedkar wanted this caste to be totally annihilated. He said caste is the biggest curse on Hindu society. Mahatma Gandhi said the same thing. He said caste has to go. Swami Vivekananda said the same thing. He said caste is the enemy of Hindu society. Then when he went to Kerala, he told the people there who were practicing untouchability, they said, it's a mad house. Practicing untouchability is madness, he said. And even if you go back to the spiritual world, in fact, several Vaishnava and Shaiva acharyas have spread this whole idea that there can be no caste. All human beings are the same. There is the same divinity in all the human beings. This has been the essence of India's spiritual movement. Mahatma Gandhi said the same thing. So everybody, even Savarkar, when he came back, he was released from Andaman and he was jailed he was kept under house arrest in Ratnagiri. He started what is called the Patit Pavan Mandir. A Brahman starting a Patit Pavan Mandir. He said, this temple is open for everybody, and a untouchable, so-called untouchable, who will be the priest in this temple. And all Brahmins will go to the temple. And he invited Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar for the opening ceremony of the temple. So every known person has worked against the caste. The biggest problem is by trying to remove the caste, you will be strengthening it. Caste is an identity. So Dr. Hedgewar said, instead of trying to erase that identity, you draw a bigger identity, an identity called Hindu. So all Hindus are same. If you ask somebody what is your caste, he say, I have no caste. I am a Hindu. Okay, for government jobs, you have to give a caste, and then caste has certain preferences. All those things will eventually go away. But most important is you have to have a larger identity. The best way to erase a small line is to draw a bigger line. So Hindu identity is the bigger line that will erase the smaller identities of caste, creed, community, language, and so many other things. So that is the uniqueness of RSS, and I believe there are innumerable examples. Mahatma Gandhi visited RSS Shaka in Varda, and then he was surprised to find that there is no caste difference in this place. Everybody is moving around, and nobody is asking about somebody else's caste. So he said, how is it possible? He said, my entire life work has been achieved by Dr. Hedgewar. He said that in Varda. Long after that, Jayaprakash Narayan went to an RSS Shaka. He said, I wish this kind of caste annihilation work which you have done, I wish people like Babasaheb Ambedkar and Gandhi had witnessed this. I were alive to witness it. So this is the kind of work, I think a positive approach and drawing a bigger line is the only solution, and that is what the RSS is doing.